There's an overarching theme that I've noticed for a lot of the content that I've been making on this channel recently. I think a lot of it ends up boiling down to the idea that you can be whatever you want to be. You shouldn't really keep in mind what other people are trying to make you do, or what other people might think about what you want to do, or stuff like that. And I think this is something that really needs to be said to a lot of content creators as they're doing their thing, as they're trying to grow. I think it's something that recently I've been actually embracing for myself. Don't overthink your content is something that a lot of people say, but it's really hard to figure out what that actually means. A lot of the time when somebody tells you, oh, don't overthink it, oh, just do what you want, follow your passions, whatever the heck. Let's be real, when you're looking into actually trying to follow your passions or trying to do the things that you want, you might not be getting many views. You might not be, finding the audience that you need to find. You might not be getting to the point that you want to be in content creation. And someone just telling you, oh, don't overthink it, oh, just do what you want, isn't helpful in that case. Because when someone says that, it kind of is just, it feels like it's a catch-all. It feels like it's something that somebody will just say to get you off their backs and to not give you any real advice about content creation. It's not that easy. Maybe you don't have the luxury of doing what you want. Maybe you've hit a niche already. You already have a lot of numbers in one specific thing, and you feel like if you restart, if you try something new, you're probably going to lose that audience. And in a lot of cases, you're right. You probably will lose that audience. I don't think that it's necessarily good advice to just say, do what you want, or don't overthink it. But I think that there is something to the idea of not overthinking your content too much. And I'll tell you right now, I think that because of this channel. I started this channel only, 3 weeks ago or something like that now, and I've already surpassed 1,300 followers, and I have been getting thousands of views on my videos, and a lot of it is just me ranting into the abyss. It's a lot of just like getting on a camera and just starting to talk, and I don't even script it, and I don't put that much editing work behind it. There's not a lot of effort being put into these videos versus the things that I've been doing for years. There's still a lot of thought behind it. I don't think that saying don't overthink your content means don't think about it at all. I've thought about this stuff a lot. I've thought about what kind of topics I want to do. I have a whole list of them. I think about how I want to talk about a topic before I actually start talking. I try and think about how I want to present things, what I do and don't want to talk about, what kinds of themes I want to approach. I thought about the fact that I was going to make this channel instead of putting it on my main channel because I didn't think that the audiences would match. I didn't think that putting these videos on a channel that was dedicated to me live streaming games all the time was going to be something that worked. So there was still a lot of thought that went behind this channel and the decisions that, I made because of this channel. But that's in contrast to the types of thoughts that I was having before. For instance, I don't think that having a lot of really, interesting philosophical sort of opinions like this is something that a lot of VTubers like. I don't think that this is something that the community really enjoys, and I feel like having these kind of discussions is scary because a lot of people will write you off as soon as you start talking about your opinions on a lot of subjects. This is something that I've noticed across the board with VTubing. VTubing in general is something where people want to escape from real life, and if you do anything that is related to talking about something real, something behind the scenes, something that breaks the immersion, then you're going to get some people who dislike you for that. So I thought about that before. I also thought about things like I don't think that VTubers do a lot of these videos, and I don't know if they'll work. I thought about things like, usually I'm supposed to be doing karaoke streams and playing games and I'm supposed to be a cute anime girl. But I I stopped thinking about that stuff. I stopped caring about that stuff, about what people would perceive as my content or like how they would look at me for creating this kind of stuff. And I just did it. I decided that there was something that I was going to do. I decided there was something I wanted to do. And on a whim, I just did it. I decided one day I want to make videos. I made the channel that day. Within the next like couple of like I think a week or two or something like that, I put out my first video. I said that I was probably going to take a while to come up with more videos, but I decided on a whim that I didn't feel like streaming, really. I wanted to make video content, and that was like my new hyperfixation, and I just did it. I just started making things and putting them out there, and people started liking them, and people started watching them, and I've continued on for the last couple of weeks with it, and I'm happy with what I've been doing, and I have more ideas for other things that I want to do, and more shifts that I want to make with my own content, because I just went for it. I didn't think about how people were going to look down on me for doing it. I didn't think about all of the people that I had seen before who had talked shit about people who were just stating their opinions, who were saying that they were like going wild and stuff like that, just for saying like a normal take, like a normal lukewarm take. I didn't think about those people anymore. I stopped thinking about that. I stopped thinking about how, agencies might see me. I stopped thinking about how I might have people who are, disagreeing with me or thinking that I'm stupid for making these kind of things, or who might, not like my opinions in general and start like hating on me or etc. I stopped thinking about that sort of stuff, and I just started making things. For me, this is not something that came without any sacrifice. I have noticed a massive drop on my main YouTube channel in income, and that's my main income source. So I took a risk and I did lose money from it, but I think that that's fine. I think that if I'm happy with what I'm doing and I'm actually like being true to myself and what kind of things I want to create, I think that's good. I think that's better, and I think that I can regain it. I can get back to a place where I am doing good and I am, financially stable enough. I think that taking these kind of risks with content and experimenting and doing new things is a really good thing, and I think that if you don't do this kind of thing on YouTube, then you're probably going to stagnate and you're going to end up like a bunch of older YouTubers who kind of just are stuck in the same content, the same safe content that they've been making for a decade now. And if you get stuck in this loop of what is safe for you to create, then eventually people will leave anyways because they'll get bored. I mean, at some point, like how many times can you go and just watch like me, like an alpaca girl, play Neopets? Or like, how many times can you watch somebody play the Elden Ring DLC? How many times can you go to someone's stream and just consume that kind of content without any differences in it? And it's all just the same kind of VTuber thing over and over and over again. It gets boring after a while, and I think that I hit the point where I was getting bored of my own content, even though, I mean, I still enjoyed it. It's not like I was creating things that I wasn't happy with. I was still happy with my own content. I could still watch my own content. I was fine with it, but I was fine with it, right? I wasn't happy necessarily. I wasn't sitting there like really excited to do these streams. It was more like, I got a stream today. I'm going to do this today. It'll be fun. And I did have a lot of fun with it, but it wasn't something that excited me. It wasn't something that I had to be up at, it's almost 4 a.m. right now, recording a video because I just really wanted to do it and get it out there, So I think honestly, that's more of what I want to say here. If you want to make something, if you want to do something different, if you want to be something different, or if you want to change or anything like that, I think it's worth it to consider experimenting. I don't think you should be overthinking every single thing like, oh, what will this do to my analytics? What will this do with my content? Will VTuber fans even enjoy this and stuff like that? You're never going to know unless you do it, unless you actually go for it, and unless you put it out there to the world to see if they like it, to see what they think. And I think that that's something that a lot of content creators lack. They have issues with, because just imagine the amount of people, I mean, you may be one of them, who went through all of the motions of a debut as a VTuber. Imagine all of the people who had like a checklist of things that you needed. You need a lore video, you need to have a live 2D model, you need to do the thing where you go from the feet down and you showcase the model. Maybe you did that reveal thing where you do enough retweets to reveal the model first. Maybe you did a voice reveal. Maybe you did a cover song. All of that stuff is traditional, and it's stuff that a lot of people feel like they have to do with VTubing, but you don't have to do anything. You don't have to do literally any of it. You don't have to follow some sort of trajectory that's already been pre-planned for you. You can do anything. It's your content, and you can make whatever you want of it. Even if people don't like that, even if you might be like fighting against people the whole way, if you're enjoying what you're creating, you should create it. You should become your own favorite content creator, no matter what that is, and no matter what that means. And just to keep this in line with what I was saying about me noticing a trend in my videos, just go through them and think about that. Like, maybe that means not following idol culture. Maybe that means not joining an agency. Maybe that means not caring about ever joining an agency. Maybe that means not worrying about who is your friend or who you can collab with. Maybe that means not worrying about what you should be as a VTuber. Maybe that means not caring about what people think, even if they think bad things about you. You should just create for yourself, and to make yourself happy, and to do what you think is best. And maybe you should make another channel for that. Maybe you have to make another channel for that. Maybe you can't do that on your main channel. Maybe that is your main income, right? Don't jeopardize yourself just to do it, but do it. Like, make something new and go for it. Because if you have that drive to create something, then you should create it. And it doesn't have to be over-edited. It doesn't have to be something that you worked hours on. It doesn't have to be something that you wrote a huge script for. I barely edit these videos. I don't write a script. I show up and I talk about something that I'm interested in, and I'm happy with that. And maybe that's just enough. Maybe you do want to do something that's even more highly edited and more intense and stuff like that. As long as you've got the mental bandwidth for it, as long as you have the time for it, go for it. You might as well. But don't think that you have to do that either. You don't have to make it perfect. You can learn as you go. You don't have to worry about it being like the most edited and overproduced and interesting and visually stimulating thing in the world. You don't have to attract like the Zoomer crowd. You don't have to use all of those fancy editing tips that you find on YouTube trying to get more views and all of these tags and SEO. And maybe you just don't worry about that. Maybe you just don't care about that, but you create something and you're proud of it. And that's important. And that's valuable. And that's my rant for today. And, you know, it kind of goes back to something that Calliope Mori said in one of her songs before, which is start creating, stop tweeting. That was based around the entire idea of VTweeter culture, where there was a lot of pre-debut VTubers at the time, and there was a lot of people who were a lot of talk, and they weren't debuting because they felt like they had to fill out a checklist of things first. And I think that, you know, in a lot of cases, a lot of people think you do have to do that. You have to kind of hit a lot of checkpoints. You have to hit a lot of you know, requirements before you start creating something. But you can learn as you go. You can create something bad at first and then just learn from it. And then the next one is a little bit better. And by the way, take inspiration from people. If you really enjoy a type of content, look into it and try and figure out what it is exactly that makes that content tick, what you like about it, what you dislike about it, and how you could do it better than them, maybe. Or take that inspiration from like 5 different people, your 5 top creators, and think about their content and what you like and what you actually want to do, and go from there and try and create your own brand and your own identity and be your own content creator. And don't worry so much about what if people don't like this, or what if this isn't right for VTubing, or what if any million of things. Just think about you, think about what you want to make. This is content creation. Let's be honest, it's not the best job in the world because it's so fickle and it's so quick, and it will only last a few years at most, because most content creators, if they hit it big, they're big for like 3 years. And then there's the next crowd is in, you know? So you have to enjoy it. You have to be doing something that you love, something that you're passionate about. If you want it to continue, if you want it to be something that's really important to you in your life, you have to love it. Because if you don't love it, then there's really no point in doing this. There is no point in doing this if you're not enjoying it, if you're not creating and learning and experimenting and moving forward. Just be yourself, do what you want, and be your own favorite content creator, and don't overthink your own content. Even if it's simple, even if it's silly, just do it. Just go for it. Trust me.